treatment. So Owoos are not the only families talked about in this book. Let's see who is next. Okay. Next is John Patrick Ofarrey, Prince of Latte, alias Kwame Ofarrey, the great-grandson of King Asiedu the Great, a prince by descent from La Benkum Hine of Akuapem, born at Chebi, I think he wants to write, Achimabuakwa, 5th September 1889. That's John Patrick Ofarrey. Okay, what did John Patrick do? Hail Prince Kwame Ofarrey that exchanged greetings with the greatest of all princes. Hail, 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 it says. Okay, let's move on. Kwame Ofarrey, the precious and imperious child, was born when his parents, the Reverend Esa Ofarrey and Madame Wilhelmina Kade Ofarrey, were away in Akim on missionary work. At the age of 2, he exhibited glimpses of his importance and defied parents for taking him away from his pleasant surroundings of the parsonage to a farm village. Young Ofarrey slept on the journey and arriving in the dark did not notice the change till the morning. When he perceived it, he raised a cry till the parents were compelled to return home. On the playgrounds, Kwame Ofarrey would be the commander. His friends would willingly elect him as the leader. He was the kukurudu. Hey, what kind of word is this? He was the kukurudu Kwame Ofarrey, or the weighty one. Okay, kukurudu means elephant, isn't it? So, okay. Kwame Ofarrey, Prince of Latte, began his education at the Basel Mission School at Latte. He was then sent to the Kropon Middle School and afterwards to the Government Boys School in Accra. From the 1st to the 3rd standard, the boys felt his mettle, for he never gave them quarters to usurp his position as first boy. He was awarded a prize for efficiency on his retiring. He passed the civil service examination in 1907. Wow. For a career, he joined his brothers, Messrs. Ofarrey Brothers, in partnership, but he has recently opened an independent training branch at Nsawam. Like his brother I.F. Ofarrey, he has an inclination to literature. He has compiled a calendar, as also a book with the title of My Golden Rules for Everyday Life. That's a book that we all need to read. A passion burns in the Prince of Latte. Fond of reading, he has the knowledge of the progress of other lands, and this impels him to help in the education of his people. He has consistently lectured on interesting subjects such as unity between the black and white races, the necessity of school boards and other vital matters. In 1925, he addressed the eminent chiefs of the Provincial Council in the importance of educating their successors. He founded the Akuapem Improvement Society and was the pivot of a school board that was means of erecting a schoolhouse at Nsawam. The necessity for the school was much felt at the time, as in 1925, nearly 100 boys were refused admission into one school. He sent out an appeal for a new schoolhouse, and the townsmen liberally responded. Okay, though he is a supporter of the constitutional laws and customs, being of advanced views, he is not averse to healthy innovations. He liberally assisted the West African Congress, the visits of the Prince of Wales. Okay, in 1925, after a mass meeting at Nsawam to form a committee that was to receive the Prince of Wales, he successfully led the committee in fulfillment of that purpose. The famous picture of the Prince of Latte by the side of the Prince of Wales was the issue. They don't show us that photograph. Anyway. Okay, so that's the photograph actually. That's the photograph. So that's John Patrick Ofarrey, Prince of Latte, and the Prince of Wales in 1925. Who would have been Prince of Wales in 1925? Certainly not Prince Charles. We have to think about it. If anybody knows it, Google it. Prince of Wales in 1925. That would be the heir to the British crown. 1925 would have been King George, I think. So let's have a look at it. But that's him and the Prince of Wales in that photograph. Okay. The glory was submerged with Atlantis and her giants. No soundings of the centuries discovered by ruins till Britain started the salvage. From thy catacombs there has come a regeneration. On thy Achaean fields there is a regrouping of the core of the crops. The momentum that unbalanced and destroyed all in reaction is elevating. Thy historic land. I think this is a poem, very beautiful poem. Let's move on. Okay, so that's Mate-korle. Now the reason why I brought up Prince Patrick Ofarrey was to tell you that when we talk about celebrated men, we are not just talking about people who made a lot of money like the Owoos. The Prince of Latte is a chief. He may not have made a lot of money, but his contribution in civil service is essential, and that's what earns him the pages of the famous book. So it's not just about business and making money. It's also about those who do in every venture that you are in. You're a Catholic priest. You may not make a lot of money, but you distinguish yourself. Look at Father Campbell. Look at Father Kumesi and others. So you can distinguish yourself everywhere. It's important for our young people to be able to aspire We must have a society that is aspirational, that is aspiring to become something, not pulling down people and insulting them. That is not how we build a society. And if we continue to do that, our society is going to go down the drain. And if it goes down the drain, it will not go down the drain with those who lay the golden eggs. They will go up. And what are we going to get? We're going to become like United States, Brazil, and everywhere. And the World Bank is going to say the inequality gap is widening. Yes, the inequality gap gets widened when we don't build an aspirational society. If you don't have a society that is aspiring to become the person in front, when we're growing up, the houseboy, he wants a son to become like the master. 50 years down the line, his son becomes like the master. Haven't you heard stories of people whose parents were never lawyers, but they became lawyers because they said that the next door neighbor was a lawyer? And I looked at my father, took me to a next door neighbor and said, Papa Kofi Mensah, I give you my son. He wants to be like you. That's an aspirational society. If we don't build an aspirational society, and we don't want to become like Babagana Kingebi. Now, that name was a name that we used to endorse in the news. It used to come from Nigeria. One name that we used to like in the news when we were in the university that came from Nigeria was Chief Tomekimi. Chief Tomekimi was Abacha's foreign minister, and all of us wanted to be like Chief Tomekimi because when you listen to the quality of his presentations to the world in defending the Abacha outrages, you will know that Chief Tomekimi is a man with a great brain. That's aspirational. Young people must have aspiration to become like someone. It's not to pull those someone to come to their level. Because the people who lay the golden eggs like the Owoos, they will never come to our level. Whatever you do, they won't come to our level. They will continue to soar. And the World Bank will come and say, inequality gap in Ghana is wide. Inequality gap in Brazil is wide. Inequality gap in the United States is wide. Inequality will widen. Now the Bible talks about that. The Bible says, the poor, even the little they have, I will take it from them. That's what God says. I didn't say that. Say the poor, even the little they have, I will take it from them. So we have to begin to learn to be an aspirational society. I've been pondering all day about this Owoo story, and I'm wondering why. And I've looked at Facebook in great detail all day. That's what I've been doing. And I'm looking for a small light in the direction of the Facebook commentary that is asking, who are the Owoos and what did they do? I didn't find any. And I was so terribly sad. And I said, let's change Good Evening Ghana today and talk about this. Because that's our role, is to be a catalyst to the society. Why are we not aspiring? And we are dragging them down. They will never come down. 100 years after the fact, they have 300 acres. Maybe in 2025, government changes, they will have another 100 acres. Who knows? Because the Constitution has given them the right because of what grandfathers did. Okay, so this is Nene Mate-korle. I'll come to Mate-korle in a minute, but I'll show you the other one so that you can understand it. Okay, so that's Nene Mate-korle, and do go get a book. Okay, so let me talk about the book. I'll talk about it at the end. Okay, Nene Mate-korle. Let's do a bit about him. A page of honor is dedicated to the illustrious chief, the Honorable Sir Nene Mate-korle. The Kono of Manya-Krobo was installed during the factious period of his country's politics, from which he emerged triumphant. As a Christian chief, he was the hope of the reformation of his country. In fulfillment of expectation, he helped to extirpate the dreaded fetishes, Nadu and Kotoklo, the mask with which the priest taught that the acme of manhood was in the possession of human relics, a doctrine that necessarily entailed the shedding of blood. One of the first steps that made abortive the evil practice was the choice of Nene to remove from his ancient mountain home in order to settle at Odumase, the new capital. Nene Mate-korle is the man we are talking about. Let's move on. Oh, I hope this thing goes. Yes. During the Ashanti expedition, see, note how they spelled Ashanti. During the Ashanti expedition of 1895 to 1896, the Kono gave valuable service and accompanied his men to Kumasi. The thanks which the country owes to Nene for his long service at the Legislative Council is of second importance to the acknowledgement of the nation for the keen interest which Nene takes in agriculture. His careful study has induced his subjects to observe the essential rules of farming, so that in the cocoa world of the Gold Coast, the products of the native of Krobo are generally of the highest quality. The loyalty of Nene had before received recognition from the government when Governor Sir Bradford Griffith presented him with the dress and cockade in which he appears in this book. Oh, I see. That's beautiful. But his allegiance and good service received the climax of reward when the king recently conferred him a knighthood. The country untabans and salutes the Honorable Sir Nene Mate-korle. So that's Mate-korle. That's the who is who of the Gold Coast and all that. You can get the book and read it. Okay, who is this? James McCarthy Esquire, born in Sierra Leone, Solicitor General, Gold Coast Governor. Okay, I will skip McCarthy, and then I have Kobna Akukosa. I can't skip because Akukosa is one of the favorites, one of our favorite people in history. He was the first Lord Chief Justice. I'm guessing this is his father, I think. Yes, born in 1894, most likely his father. But let's see whether it is him. Kobna Akukosa, I think is him, K.A. Kosa. The Honorable Kobna Akukosa, LLB, etc. Born at Solpon, 1894. Let's look at it. When the foundation of the law was laid without distress, when easy Latin was the classic required for the entrance, when from an elementary school you could be coached to pass, there were indiscriminate knocks to open the inns of courts. Fantastic. Okay, let's move on. Now, matriculation is the necessary key. When this edict went forth, the difficulty of the tax caused misgivings, but the effect of the edict has more than restored confidence, since instead of retrogression, our boys have excelled themselves. Okay, let's move on. They are not even satisfied with the clean matriculation. They prefer to be connected with the arts. That most of our lawyers have degrees to their names, letters multifarious. In the sphere of learning, what transcends the degree of Master of Arts? In the domain of law, what graces the barrister at law? There are possibilities, but all the possibilities in the first flight, you have admirably ascended. It's a poem to the dedication of Sir Akukosa. For the step to the Doctor of Civil Law is the bachelor. The step to the Doctor of Laws is only the bachelor. All these degrees, being British, are the highest in the world. The chancelleries of the world offered their briefs to you. We have justified your father in this gallery of celebrities as helmsman and as a beacon of defense against treachery and calumny in our commercial world. We enroll you as an Ciceronian. Ciceronian, that's the pronunciation. It's talking about Cicero, the Roman writer. For the defense of your country's honor and prophecy, for you a place in the Legislative Council, an office which befits you calm temperament, not only in knowledge, but also in discretion. You have led by choosing a wife from an aristocratic family. That's interesting. A discretion which has kept you peacefully away from frivolities and increased you in mind to battle triumphantly at the courts. Your achievements have raised you among the most sought for in the big cases. Your clients hail from north, east, and west. Our lines were not out of the press when our prophecy was realized. You have been elected a member of the Legislative Council. The country congratulates you and tenders you her bouquet, the new retreat, the property and residence of the Honorable Kobna Akukosa. Have a look at the photograph. Put the photograph on, let them see. That's Akukosa's house. These are the things that we need to celebrate. These are the things that we need to celebrate. Have you seen Akukosa's house then? We need to aspire. Akukosa was not a businessman. He became our first Chief Justice. He's the one who led Dr. Kwame Nkrumah in swearing the oath in the 1960s that we have been showing to you. We don't have the video today. We can show it to you later. But if you go on our Facebook page, you'll find that video. Akukosa led Nkrumah in the act. He said, I, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, do in the name of God swear. That was Akukosa, the first Chief Justice who led Nkrumah in the thing. He's also captured in this famous book as one of the who is who's. Not because he's a businessman, but he was a distinguished barrister of the highest classes in England and anywhere in the world at the time. He was Ghanaian. He was born in 1894. That's aspirational. That's what we have to aspire to. Let me end this quickly by going to Vanderpoel. Okay, so this is Thomas Hatton Mills. He's also in there. Hatton Mills family, forgive me for skipping it. This is Francis Chapman Grant. He's also there. Chapman Grant family, forgive me for skipping it. Let me go on. This is King Gatti. He's related to Joe Gatti, the former Attorney General who is trying to run for president. That's one of his grandfathers. King Gatti of Winneba. He's the paramount chief of Winneba. Alexander Afenyo-Markin will like this as well because he's the MP for Winneba. This is King Gatti, the discoverer of Winneba. What we call Winneba today, we now have for the university there. Kwame Nkrumah put an ideological institute there. This is the man who discovered it. He discovered Winneba and made it into a city. King Gatti they call him. Gatti family, forgive me for skipping it because I have to go to Vanderpoy because it was Carl Vanderpoy, one of the grandsons, who gave me the book. Nana Kweku Dia is from Ashanti. He's born in Ashanti in 1878. He's an Ashanti chief. He's a blood royal of Menchia Palace. Forgive me, Kweku Dia people and the Oyoko family, for skipping this one. There's one left that hasn't come. The Vanderpoy one. Okay, I think they'll put it on and then we can deal with it. So that's the story. It's coming, isn't it? Yes, this is Vanderpoy. So this is C. Anand Vanderpoy and brothers. So that's J. Ado Vanderpoy, Isaac Vanderpoy, Joseph Mensah Vanderpoy, and C. Anand Vanderpoy, and it's called self-determination. This is C. A. Vanderpoy, Anand Vanderpoy. Let's see who they are. We have described under J. Ado Vanderpoy the pedigree of the Vanderpoys. We have pictured J. Ado Vanderpoy as a man with the stability of a conqueror. J. Mensah Vanderpoy, we have mentioned this unfortunate brother under J. Ado Vanderpoy. J. Mensah Vanderpoy was the agriculturist brother who departed this life on the 16th of December 1926. Oh, that's unfortunate. He died so early in 1926. But let's move on and see what the rest did. Isaac Vanderpoy, who was born in 1876, chose photography as a profession. His predilection for the brides caused him to change his vocation to commerce. At the Brights, he worked for several mercantile firms, Messrs. Brunner Mercers, African Associates, Messrs. John Holt, and others. He eventually settled in, is it Chebi they want to write? Oh no, it's Krebi in the Cameroons, and amassed some wealth. But alas, for the Great War, the invasion of Cameroons by the powers impoverished him. That's unfortunate. Krebi House at Accra is a commemoration of the might have been. We sympathize with Isaac over his fate and over the death of his beloved wife. C. Anand Vanderpoy as a civil and mechanical engineer. We have partly pictured under J. Ado Vanderpoy, but his interest career is deserving of more prominence. Okay, he was born on the 20th of June, 1881, with an aptitude for mechanics. He early took to the engineering art and fortune led him on. One of Fortune's favorites, a foreman in the public works department, took Anand in hand and brushed him up in carpentry and joinery. In this manner, he served his apprenticeship. That gave him the taste of the craft. With his education, Anand soon found that books could teach as much as a local foreman. He delved into books, and this gave him the skill to hold a position in the Gold Coast Government Railway. Anand migrated to Calabar in Nigeria, it was, but the call of home forced him to resume his post at Sekondi Railway in 1901 to 1906. In 1906, he at last settled in Accra and developed the Derby Works. And this establishment, you can repair the most delicate machine or buy the finest furniture. Through his good services, Anand Vanderpoy was accepted as a railway contractor. He has competently discharged his duties and played a great part in the building of the Gold Coast Railway. Derby House is a model building and is cozily furnished. The grounds, which have recently been extended, are precious for any operation. A useful man needs a loyal helpmate. Our great engineer recently married Miss Elizabeth Latte. The couple have the country's congratulations and bouquets. And this is a corner view of Derby House, the property and residence of C. Vanderpoy. Is on page 189. That's the kind of homes they used to live in Accra. Beautiful home in the early 20th century, 1900-something, 1920-something. This is the kind of homes they used to live in Accra. Accra has been great before. We have a great history, and no one is going to take that history from us. And before we go and look at the legal position